and welcome. This is the news on NTA International, reaching you live from Abuja. I am Norlin Ebel Ame. Here is the news headlines. President Buhari swears in new ministers, warns them against sectional interest. Presidential election petition court reserves judgment in PDP petition to later date after adoption of final addresses by council. Plus, Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai tasked Army personnel to acquire ICT skills to enhance their command and tactical operations. And now details of the news. President Muhammadu Buhari has warned the newly appointed ministers not to allow issues relating to political affiliation, sectional interest, and primordial loyalties be cloud their patriotic obligation towards shifting nation's trajectory on the path of sustainable growth and development. He said meaningful progress can only be made in Nigeria's restoration efforts. They all commit themselves towards addressing prevailing challenges in the best interest of all Nigerians. This was at the swearing-in of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation and the 43 newly appointed members of the Federal Executive Council. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
Apart from the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, 14 out of the 43 ministers have returned to the Federal Executive Council under the Buhari presidency, while 29 were newly appointed. Presiding over the swearing-in ceremony witnessed by their spouses and other top government officials, President Muhammadu Buhari reminded the appointees that they were chosen to, amongst others, share his commitment to working tirelessly towards a future where every Nigerian can reach his or her potential.
I believe you are ready to get to work. Indeed, the work has already started. For the first 2 days, you were with me at the retreat. I shared my vision for Nigeria and what our priorities will be for the next 4 years. These priorities are the pillars on which we can build a better Nigeria. As you are aware, the core objectives of this administration is to improve security, achieve diversified, inclusive economic growth, and fight corruption. I am convinced that we can build a buoyant economy that supports inclusive growth and creates broad-based prosperity for every Nigerian.
The president described as pleasing that the economic recovery and growth plan is still robust and indeed on course towards engendering growth and promoting value chain of infrastructural development, which he believes can be sustained with good governance.
Our primary business over the next 4 years is to work together towards delivering the results that the people of Nigeria expect from us. I am pleased to note that each of you is committed to be part of an administration that will work for all Nigerians, part of a government that will do what is right and best at all times for our people, even when it is difficult. This is therefore an opportunity for you. It is a call to serve and collectively build a safer, more prosperous, and fair nation.
President Muhammadu Buhari, who announced the expansion of the federal ministries for effective service delivery, urged the ministers to be relentless in delivering priorities that are vital towards achieving the objectives of the next level agenda. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
In the next report, Ruth Agwele gives a breakdown of the 43 new ministers and their portfolios as assigned by President Muhammadu Buhari.
Dr. Uche Chukwu Oga, Minister of State, Mines and Steel Development, Mohammed Musa Bello, Minister of FCT, Godswill Akpabio, Minister of Niger Delta, Chris Ingige, Minister of Labour and Employment, Sharon Ikazo, Minister of State Environment, Adamu, Minister of Education; Mariam Katagum, Minister of State, Industry, Trade and Investment; Timi Praise Silva, Minister of State, Petroleum; George Akome, Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs; Mustafa Baba Shehuri, Minister of State, Agriculture and Rural Development; Godi Jedi Agba, Minister of State, Power; Festus Keyamo, Minister of State, Niger Delta; Ogbonnaya Onu, Minister of Science and Technology; Osage Ehanere, Minister of Health; Clement Agba, Minister of State, Budget and National Planning; Richard Adeniyi Adebayo, Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment; Jeffrey Onyama, Minister of Foreign Affairs; Ali Issa Pantami, Minister of Communications; Emeka Nwajuba, Minister of State, Education; Suleiman Adamu, Minister of Water Resources; Zainab Ahmed, Minister of Finance; Muhammad Mahmoud, Minister of Environment; Sabo Nanono, Minister of State, Agric and Rural Development; Major General Bashir Salihi Magashi, Minister of Defense; Hadi Sirika, Minister of Aviation; Abubakar Malami, Attorney General and Minister of Justice; Ramatu Tijani, Minister of State, FCT; Lai Mohammed, Minister of Information and Culture; Bemisola Saraki, Minister of State, Transportation; Babatunde Fashola, Minister of Works and Housing; Adeleke Mamora, Minister of State, Health; Mohammed Abdullahi, Minister of State, Science and Technology; Zubair Dada, Minister of State, Foreign Affairs; Olamilekan Adegbite, Minister of Mines and Steel Development; Tayo Alasho Adura, Minister of State, Labour and Employment; Rauf Aregbesola, Minister of Interior; Sunday Dare, Minister of Youth and Sports; Pauline Tallinn, Minister of Women Affairs; Rotimi Amechi, Minister of Transportation; Megari Dengyadi, Minister of Police Affairs; Saleh Mamman, Minister of Power; Abubakar Aliyu, Minister of State, Works and Housing; Sadia Umar Farouk, Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management.
The new ministers have been speaking on their appointments and promised to deliver on their mandate. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports that the Senate President, Ahmed Lawan, equally promised to give necessary support to the executive arm of government to achieve its set agenda.
The picture is crystal clear now on where the nation is heading, and the new ministers have all promised to work with the president in achieving the next level agenda. I spoke with some of them after the inauguration.
It's a rich menu, given the fact that the ministers have been very carefully selected and deployed. Nigeria should expect quite a lot.
It was a top secret, and of course, until Mr. President revealed, nobody knew what they were going to get. We want to lift people out of poverty, so we'll begin to encourage our people to add value to the minerals.
It's a duty that we have to ensure that we keep in line with the expectations of the people.
We need to cooperate, collaborate, and work as a team. And that's what we are going to do. There's no way out of it.
It's an enormous responsibility, and we'll do our best. We will seek the cooperation of everybody, whether it's the National Assembly, the governors, everybody, the people of Nigeria in general, wherever we can reach, because this is a task that cannot be done by one segment of governance.
The last 4 years, we had a roadmap, a 15-year roadmap on how to restructure and reposition the ministry and the sector, the water resources sector. And we are going to continue with that roadmap. But of course, in the last 2 days, we have been informed that there are additional priorities of government, and there will be key mandates that will be given to us. So we have to take all those and also key into them.
The Senate screened the ministerial nominees, then ministers today, and we found them to be worthy of being appointed ministers, people of great capacity, experience, and loyalty.
I'm confident that the President had examined all attributes before arriving at this conclusion, and we fully support him.
There is no doubt that before the federal ministers is a huge task, but as observed by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, with teamwork, commitment and hard work, the task is surmountable. Nigerians expect the ministers to hit the ground running, and that they have promised to do. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NJ News.
The All Progressives Congress congratulates President Muhammadu Buhari and the newly inaugurated ministers. The party, in a statement by its National Publicity Secretary Lanre Issa Onilu, notes with utmost satisfaction the painstaking efforts the president made in picking the new ministers, their speedy screening and confirmation by the Senate, in addition to the rigorous induction of the new appointees towards acquainting them to the onerous task of assisting the president fulfill his promises of repositioning the economy, ensuring security of lives and property, and fighting corruption. The party equally notes that there are challenges to build on the foundations that have been laid in the last 4 years by the APC-led government, geared to lift Nigerians out of poverty, secure lives and property, grow the economy, build infrastructure, bring back discipline to private and public conduct, and mobilize Nigerians through personal examples towards evolving a Nigeria all can be proud of. The APC urges the new ministers to justify the confidence reposed in them by the president and indeed all Nigerians by settling down to work quickly and hit the ground running and consolidate on the progress that have been made in the various sectors. The party reminded the newly inaugurated ministers to understand that there are ministers of APC administration. Hence, they should reflect the best and progressive ideals of the party in their conduct and actions. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the reappointment of Mr. Femi Adesina as a Special Advisor, Media and Publicity, and Malam Garba Shehu as Senior Special Assistant, Media and Publicity. The President also reappoints Mr. Laolu Akonde as Senior Special Assistant, Media and Publicity, Office of the Vice President. A statement by the Deputy Director Information Abiodun Oladunjoyi said President Buhari also returned Tolu Ogunlesi, Bashir Ahmed, Loretta Onochi, and Nazir Bashiru as Special Assistant, Digital, New Media, Personal Assistant, New Media, Personal Assistant, Social Media, and Personal Assistant, Visual Documentation. Following the election of Honorable Shaban Ibrahim Sharada, the former Personal Assistant, Broadcast Media, as the lawmaker representing Kano Municipal Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives, the President has appointed Buhari Salou as his replacement. All appointments take effect from May 29, 2019, except that of the new entrant into the team, Buhari Salou. The Buhari Media Organization, BMO, has held the reappointment of presidential spokesperson Mr. Femi Adesina and Malam Garba Shehu as Special Advisor and Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity. In a statement signed by its chairman, Ni Akinchuji, and Secretary Kasidi Madweke, the group says the reappointment is in recognition of their commitment to the task of nation building and the confidence the President reposed in them. BMO expresses confidence that the reappointment will afford them the opportunity to help drive the change agenda of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration to the next level. BMO also congratulates other members of the presidential media team, Mr. Laolu Akonde, Loretta Onochi, and Bashir Ahmed, and wishes them a successful second tenure. Moving on, the Human Rights Commission has resolved to ensure that human rights are well mainstreamed in government policies and programs for smooth operation. This is coming at the heels of the inauguration of the new executive councils.
Of government in a democratic setting depends on its ability to protect the people, respect their rights, and promote same towards achieving the desired sustainable development goals. With the inauguration of new ministers, the National Human Rights Commission believes that maintenance of human rights in all operations is key to earning the trust of the people.
The government will be seen by the people as a people-centered government based on which its legitimacy and continued exercise of authority will devolve. The sustainable development goals will be achieved to the credit of the government of the day. Good governance is the result. Insecurity will be highly reduced. The fight against corruption will be strengthened and made sustainable through the culture of accountability embedded in the human rights-based approach. The provision of peaceful, just and fair environment for peaceful development of the country will result.
The National Human Rights Commission condemned the attack on the former Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu and other Nigerians, describing it as an assault on collective human rights. In Abuja, Umenka Mrachuku, NTA News.
You are still watching the news on NTA International. We'll take a short break and return shortly. Please stay with us.
Ashley Yusuf Foundation, in partnership with the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, present Campaign Against Human Trafficking and Sexual Abuse. Theme: Curbing the Menace of Human Trafficking and Sexual Abuse in Nigeria. Speakers: Dame Julie Okadon, Director General, National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons. Nollywood actress Regina Daniels, Kiki Osibajo, CEO Glammed Africa Beauty House, and other notable speakers. Date: Thursday, 22nd August 2019. Seminar at the Merit House, Maitama, Abuja. Time 10 a.m. prompt. For inquiries, please call 0803 734 7437 or 0803 7090 904. NAPTIP, ensuring a human trafficking and violence-free nation.
Thank you for staying with us. Now, the Presidential Election Petition Court has reserved judgment in the petition of the People's Democratic Party and its candidate Atiku Abubakar. The five-man court led by Justice Mohammed Garba gave the ruling this Wednesday after adoption of final addresses by counsel in the matter. Dele Atumbi reports.
At this Wednesday's hearing, counsel in the petition of People's Democratic Party adopted their final written addresses before the Presidential Election Petition Court sitting in Abuja. Counsel to the Independent National Electoral Commission, Ustaz Usman SAN, in adopting his written address, urged the court to strike out the petition with costs. Usman SAN told the court that from the evidence of the witnesses by the petitioners, the electoral umpire conducted the February 23 presidential election in line with the provisions of the law as provided for in the Electoral Act. On the issue of electronic transmission of results, INEC, relying on Section 52 of the Electoral Act, maintained that result of the presidential election was never transmitted electronically. Counsel to President Muhammadu Buhari, Wole Olanipekun SAN, told the court that the petition is starved in evidence, thereby crying to air heavens for help without proving its case. On the eligibility of President Muhammadu Buhari to contest the presidential election, Wole Olanipekun SAN, relying on sections 131 and 318 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, said the Constitution was clear on the matter. Olanipekun SAN said since the petitioners failed on their part to prove their case, urged the court to dismiss the petition with substantial cost. Lateef Agbemi SAN, counsel to the APC, posited that from all the witnesses called by the petitioners, only 5 were those who witnessed what purportedly happened at the polling units in a presidential election conducted all over the Federation, where the petitioners were challenging its conduct in 119,923 polling units. Agbemi SAN urged the court to dismiss the petition since it was in want of evidence. Counsel to all the respondents were unanimous in objecting to the admissibility of all the documents tendered by the petitioners in their written addresses. Livy Uzogu SAN, counsel to the petitioners, urged the court to uphold the petition, having proved their case. In the petition, the PDP and its candidate Atiku Abubakar are challenging the victory of President Muhammadu Buhari in the February 23 presidential election. To prove their case, the petitioners called 62 witnesses. President Muhammadu Buhari has the second respondent in the case through his counsel, Wole Olanipekun called 7 witnesses who told the 5-man presidential election petition court led by Justice Muhammad Gaba that the presidential election was free, fair and credible. The APC and INEC closed their defense without calling any witness. The PDP and its candidates are challenging the conduct of the presidential election in 11 states in the North Central, Northeast and Northwest geopolitical zones of the country.
We as lawyers, we have concluded our professional duties. What is now left is for the court to study the evidence, read the addresses, the law, examine the authorities cited, and then deliver its judgment. And whichever way the decision of the court goes, this case will define electoral jurisprudence in this country.
Other counsel in the matter declined comments. The Presidential Election Petition Court has between now and 15th September 2019 to deliver its judgment in line with the provision of the law, as the adjudication on this petition cannot go beyond 180 days from the day of filing it. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
The Bureau for Public Service Reform has signed a Memorandum of Understanding with Digital Bridge Institute on the use of ICT innovation and emerging technologies for improved productivity and efficiency of the civil service. Haman Jabani was at the signing of the MOU and now reports.
It is said that no government is better than its civil service, and it is one of the most important government machinery to deliver the public service effectively and efficiently. And the use of ICT in public service, investigation shows enhanced service delivery to citizens, thereby reducing corruption, increasing transparency, greater conveniences, revenue growth and cost reduction. The signing of this Memorandum of Understanding between the Bureau of Public Service Reform and Digital Bridge Institute to upscale capacity of the public servants in the use of ICT innovation in service delivery, the partners say, come at a better time. The present administration is upscaling its anti-corruption drive.
We want to use this opportunity and this privilege to not only transform the civil servants themselves, but transform the processes of service delivery by the civil servants.
And therefore, in the light of that, the workers, especially in the public service, must be prepared with the skills to be able to handle the disruptive effect of these emerging technologies on processes.
The two parties are optimistic that the use of ICT in public service delivery in Nigeria will, among other things, be more effective through the integration of operability mechanism among government organizations, departments, agencies, and business entities. Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
And on health, records indicate that concerted efforts from the federal government and its development partners, the country is now on the verge of being declared free of wild polio virus. This follows the country's feat of recording 0 new cases of the virus for 3 consecutive years. Let's hear the details from Chidima Ndubisi.
3 years ago, Nigeria was on the brink of being declared free of wild polio virus. But something happened. Some cases of wild polio virus were reported in some quarters. Frontline healthcare providers point at insecurity in parts of the country as major cause of the setback.
The federal government, after committing to end the wild polio virus in the country, mounted a rapid and aggressive outbreak response, pumping in 9.8 billion naira into the national immunization program. The National Primary Healthcare Development Agency says it swung into action with development partners, increasing the sensitivity of surveillance system. Traditional and religious leaders were also involved to mobilize people to accept vaccination for their children, especially in the hard-to-reach areas. Routine immunization was also strengthened. This saw the increase in pentavalent 3 from 33 to 50% being recorded. 3 years down the line, the agency is sharing a success story.
The 21st day of August 2019 marks exactly 3 years since the last case of white polio virus in Nigeria. So what it really means is that for the last 3 years, not a single child has been reported with paralysis due to white polio virus. This has never happened in the history of Nigeria. So today is really to acknowledge that milestone. But there's more work to be done.
Certification will now begin. This will be taking several months, will be completed by sometime in the spring of 2020.
Before the certification, the nation is expected to maintain the tempo of strengthening surveillance system for acute flaccid paralysis and routine immunization to prevent reoccurrence of the virus. The agency in charge of immunization says it is confident the certification will come. In Abuja, Chimdemma Ndubisi, NTA News.
And from health to security now, Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Buratai has tasked Army personnel to acquire information communication technology skills with a view to enhancing their command and tactical operations. Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachuku reports that the Chief of Army Staff gave the charge at the 2019 Sergeant Majors Convention in Kaduna.
"306 regiment sergeant majors from different army formations across the country converged on Kaduna for the convention with the theme Professionalism Through Regimentation in the Nigerian Army. It focuses on new trends and methods of soldiering for national defense and security. Chief of the Army Staff Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Buratai acknowledged the viability of information communication technology in modern warfare and asked participants to key into the new trend with a view to remaining relevant in the service.
We have the influence of the social media. These are key nowadays in our regimentation. So you must embrace ICT. You must embrace the urge to be digital.
On national unity and integration, the Chief of Army Staff says a deliberate language policy has been introduced to enable Army officers and soldiers understand more local languages that will assist in intelligence gathering. The convention is an annual event that brings together sergeant majors to cross-fertilize new ideas for successful operations. In Kaduna, I am Suleiman Abdullahi Gachkun, NTA News.
It was a wet day in Abuja. Let's now check on Thursday's weather prospects in Nigeria and some cities of the world. The weather prospects there concludes the news on NTA International. Thank you for watching. I am Nolin Edelane.